Imagine a battlefield where the fate of a civilization is at stake. The year is 479 BC, and the armies of the Persian Empire and the Greek city-states are preparing for a fight that will define the future of the Western world. On the horizon, the sun's glow reflects the Greeks' last chance to stop the Persian threat. They face not only the strength of a vast and numerous empire, but also their own fears and internal rivalries. Now, on the vast plain of Plataea, the Greek forces gather for the final confrontation to challenge the power of Xerxes. With the echoes of the great battles of Salamis and Thermopylae still fresh in their minds, a new chapter of the Greco-Persian War is about to be written. A battle of epic proportions where the courage and strategy of each Greek city-state will be tested to the limit. After the naval defeat at Salamis, the Persian Empire, which had seemed unbeatable, suffered a major setback. Xerxes, the king of kings, withdrew his forces but left Mardonius, his commander, with a sizable army in Greece. Mardonius's objective was to consolidate Persian control over the cities that had already submitted and, if possible, force independent cities like Athens to surrender. While Xerxes retreated to Asia, the Greeks faced their own internal divisions. The great dilemma was how to respond to the new Persian threat. Sparta and Athens, though rivals, knew they needed to set aside their differences to ensure the survival of their cities. When Mardonius offered a peace treaty to Athens, promising to rebuild the city if they abandoned the Spartans, the response was clear. Athens refused and called upon Sparta for help. Thus, an unlikely alliance was formed, composed of several Greek city-states, united by the need to face the Persian invader. Under the command of Pausanias, the regent of Sparta, and Aristides, one of the most respected leaders of Athens, the Hellenic coalition prepared to face the greatest battle of their history. The chosen battlefield was Plataea, a city loyal to Athens, strategically positioned near mountains that would hinder the movement of the famed Persian cavalry. The plain also offered terrain where the Greeks could protect themselves from the cavalry's charges, which had always been a significant advantage for the Persians. For the Greeks, this battle would be a struggle not just for survival, but for their very identity. Mardonius, confident in his numerical superiority, planned an attack on open ground, believing that his diverse troops and superior numbers would be enough to crush the Greeks. His force included Persians with bows and spears, Medes, Bactrians, as well as Greek contingents from Thebes, traditional enemies of Athens. Meanwhile, the Greek army prepared with the same discipline that had made them legendary. Spartans, Athenians, Corinthians, and other Greeks formed an imposing battle line, coordinated to protect themselves in a formation called the phalanx. Each warrior knew exactly their role and the importance of maintaining the cohesion of the group. Victory would be only possible if everyone maintained order and focus. Before the decisive battle, both armies engaged in several days of skirmishes, small exchanges of attacks that tested the strength and endurance of both sides. The Persian cavalry, commanded by Mycestis, attempted to break the Greek lines by attacking with arrows and spears, hoping to destabilize the hoplite formation. However, against the disciplined resistance of the Greeks, the Persian tactics failed to deliver a decisive blow. During one of these skirmishes, the Greeks achieved an important symbolic victory. The Persian commander, Mycestis, was killed. This victory provided a major morale boost for the Greeks, proving that even the Persian cavalry, which had seemed unbeatable, could be defeated. The day of the decisive battle arrived. Mardonius's army, which had initially believed the Greeks would retreat, decided to attack before their strategy of attrition could take effect. The Persian cavalry advanced rapidly, and the first rays of sunlight illuminated the battlefield. What seemed to be an opportunity for the Persians soon turned into a trap. Pausanias, the Spartan commander, quickly reorganized the Greek lines, maintaining the phalanx intact. The Persian strategy of using numerical superiority and cavalry began to fail in the face of the Greeks' discipline and cohesion. The hoplites, with their bronze shields and long spears, formed an impenetrable wall that the Persians could not breach. The fighting intensified. The sound of weapons clashing against shields, the war cries of the Spartans, and the fury of the Athenians who sought to avenge the destruction of their city, created a chaotic and deadly symphony. As the lines tightened, the Persians attempted to flank, but were repelled by the Greeks' willpower. The battle took a new turn when Mardonius, in a desperate attempt to save his army, tried to encourage his troops, but his leadership began to falter. In the midst of confusion, he was mortally wounded. The fall of Mardonius was the fatal blow to Persian morale. Without a leader, the Persian forces became disorganized. Panic spread across the field, and the Persians began to flee in despair. The Greek victory was decisive. With Mardonius dead and the Persian forces in retreat, the Greek allies advanced, surrounding the battlefield and capturing the Persian camp. On the field, the fallen bodies of Persian and Greek soldiers formed a grim scene of destruction and triumph. The Greeks, still in shock from the brutality of the battle, began to bury their dead with honors. The Spartans, faithful to their customs, paid tribute to their fallen warriors, and the Athenians erected a trophy to commemorate their great victory. The war, which had seemed lost, was transformed into a story of courage, unity, and sacrifice. The victory at Plataea not only ended the Persian threat to Greece, but also solidified the importance of the Greek city-states in the global arena. Sparta emerged as the great land power, and Athens, shortly thereafter, would begin to form the Delian League, marking the beginning of its rise as a naval power. The Battle of Plataea was more than just a military victory. It was a symbol of resistance, discipline, and unity in the face of an apparently unbeatable threat. For the Greeks, it was a proof that even against a vast and powerful empire, courage and cooperation could change the course of history. The name of Plataea, along with Marathon and Salamis, was engraved in history as a fundamental milestone in the creation of Hellenic identity. From that moment on, the future of Greece and the West would be shaped by these lessons of bravery, sacrifice, and solidarity.